Yo, 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 good people. It's your homie HerbMan. Busting you back upside the head with another hot banger. Boogie, please go tell somebody to go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. Yes, sir. And if you're new to the program, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at Love HerbMan. All right, so I am your neighborhood holistic practitioner. I'm your homie HerbMan. This is where we teach people how to heal themselves, and you cannot heal yourself unless you know thyself. So we teach you here about the human frame and the human design so that you guys can be well on your way to the happiness and the wholeness and the wellness that you deserve. All right. So this is a free information station. You guys don't have to pay for anything that you hear here today. All you simply got to do is pay attention. And how we do that on the HerbMan Show is by double tapping that screen. Let's get us up to 100K during the live broadcast. I'm going to work for those likes. Okay, you work and you do your job in sharing, following, and everything else. And we're going to make this a pleasant arena for us to be able to heal faster together. Okay, and once we get to 1,000 likes, we'll get into the subject matter at hand. This is a barnyard discussion today. Okay, and we're going to burn down the house today. Okay, we're going to burn down the house today, you guys. So I want you guys to really, really understand where we're coming at and where we're coming from. I don't want the live to get shut down. Obviously, you see the title there, but we do want to engage you and be able to interact with you. But we also want you to understand exactly what we're talking about today. The light versus the darkness. Okay. The light versus the darkness. Somebody put in the chat light versus darkness. Light versus darkness. And what has happened over the time when we start looking at all of our great stories over the history of humanity, they have been shadowing or symbolically relegating themselves or being in parallel to the sun, right? The sun. Okay. So you're talking about the Son of God. That's the light. And the light has always been the way, the truth, and the light, right? But if you're looking at what we've done with that analogy, we sacrificed. We sacrificed the way, the truth, and the light. We crucified the way, the truth, and the light. And so you have to ask yourself, why did we choose darkness over light? Why did we sacrifice? So if you're looking at information, if you're looking at social media, if you're looking at just information in a totality, we don't like the truth. We don't like the truth. Okay? We don't like the truth. And if you're sitting here and you understand that this world is built on light and darkness, when you're looking at morning and night, you're looking at wake and sleep, masculine and feminine, inhale and exhale, heart contractions and heart expansion, it's all polarity. Nothing moves without polarity. But what is the job of two things together? Anybody know? What is your job when you have two polarities? What is your job? To make them work as one. Your job is to make them work as one. And somewhere in human history, we made a big mistake. We decided that light was good and dark was evil. That's the knowledge of good and evil. And therefore, you became the God of your life, right? Like what we talked about yesterday. You became the God of your life because you wanted to relegate light to being good and darkness to being evil. And that moment when we made that mistake, you guys, we lost access to half of our capabilities, half of our intelligence of nature. So today we want to restore that understanding of what it is that's creeping in the dark. Why do we choose the dark? Way before there were religions and way before there were philosophies and governments, it was nature. And this owner's manual is trying to get you back in the rhythm of nature. And nature runs on a very simplistic rhythm. It runs on a very simplistic pattern. Thank you guys for the love. It's the cycles of light and dark. It's the cycles. This all works in a oneness. But for some reason, you think night is bad and day is good. You think that women are bad and men are good. You think that masculine is bad and feminine is good, or feminine is bad and masculine is good. It's not about good and evil. It's not about right or wrong. The sun gonna rise and the sun gonna set. The brain can activate, but the brain also needs to relax and restore itself. Plants gonna photosynthesize, but then they're also gonna do what? The roots are gonna expand during the darkness or in the darkness, right? That's just all about nature, all right? It's all about nature. The womb is a dark space, but it creates life. The dreams are in a dark space. And light reveals, but you don't want to be revealed. Diseases tell on you, but we don't want that. Darkness creates the conditions for these things to grow in you. So now we're talking about the private parts of life. What you're doing in the dark, what you're doing behind your spouse's back, what you're doing behind or in the darkness of your own home, in the darkness of your own mind. Somebody, come on now. See, you don't want to understand that right there, that darkness is going to create the conditions for your life. What you doing behind your spouse's back, what you doing on the cell phone when they don't know, what you doing in the truck when you know you're not supposed to be eating that stuff, and then next thing you know, you behind your wife's back, you go and get that McDonald's, knowing you got high blood pressure. You go and get that pork chop sandwich, knowing you got high blood pressure. You going to get them chips and cookies, knowing you got high blood sugar. That's the darkness of life. What are you doing in the private parts of your life? And when you're talking about the biology of this thing, your body literally runs on light. And when sunlight hits your eyes, your cortisol starts to rise. Your hypothalamus activates. Your circadian rhythm clock starts to reset. Your hormones begin to flow. Everything to get you up out of that bed. So now you're looking at cortisol, you're looking at serotonin, you're looking at dopamine, you're looking at metabolism, you're looking at body temperature, you're looking at immune function, all comes from the light. But you don't want the light, remember? You don't want the light. Remember, we crucified the light. We crucified the Son of God. Why is it that we crucify truth? Not understanding that biologically your nervous system is a light sensitive system. It's a light sensitive instrument. And the deeper truth is that light doesn't just regulate your body, my friends. It regulates your consciousness. And this is why ancient traditions and ancient healers all across the planet call this the enlightenment, right? The illumination, to be lit up. But it's what we're doing in these dark spaces. We've chosen the dark spaces. So when you chose the darkness, you choose to do things behind people's back, you choose to do things in your little private areas of your life, then guess what? Things happen in your private parts. You got more reproductive issues happening now, more reproductive cancers happening now than ever before. Outside of you is light, but inside of you is darkness. You don't know that part. That's the part that you're lacking, but that's the part that you chose. And when we crucify truth, we crucify clarity. We crucify awareness. We crucify direction. We crucify revelation. See, light always allows you to see things that are already there. But the darkness, that's what you want. Because that is more resembling to what you're used to. Why did people vote for Trump? Darkness. You chose the darkness. You chose the criminal because you're a criminal. You chose the pedophile because you have those things. You chose this rambunctious because that's you. You'd rather choose you than to choose the light. Same thing they did with understanding Christ. Darkness is when the sun goes down. something fascinating happens. Your melatonin begins to rise. The growth hormones begin to activate. The immune system begins to repair. The cells begin to detoxify. The brain begins to go through memory consolidation. But this darkness, this lower self, we are choosing this over the higher self, the light, the consciousness. We don't understand the biology of darkness. We don't understand that it's not a bad thing. It's a necessary thing. But because we have believed and defined it as bad, this is your preferred choice, to live in darkness. Drinking coffee when you know you don't supposed to. Eating bacon and eating potato chips when you know you don't supposed to. Over-sexualize and doing that in the darkness of life. Your private parts. The private parts of your life. You're choosing to crucify the truth. Me coming up on here, look, I only got 31 people on here. Because y'all don't want truth. You don't want the way. You don't want to follow the light. Because it sounds too much like right. The glymphatic system, which is in the brain, the glymphatic system. Do you know that clears metabolic waste at night? In other words, your deepest healing happens in the darkness. But you have chose this to be not your healing, but what hurts you. What hurts you. And as long as you're not doing things in the light where people can see you, you feel safe in the dark, in the private parts of life. And healing ain't happening in the light. Healing is happening in the dark. And what I'm trying to get you to do is change your perspective of what darkness is. So healing don't happen in the light. Healing doesn't happen during productivity. Healing doesn't happen during stimulation. But it happens during the darkness, the silence, and the rest. So biologically speaking, darkness is a good thing. But when we're talking about life in general, this is where the problems are happening at when it's supposed to be your solutions. Darkness is supposed to be where the solutions are happening, but it's becoming where the problems are happening. All the crime, most crime happens in the dark, at night. The private parts of your life is your darkness in your life. That's where your problems are coming from when they're supposed to be solutions. Darkness is supposed to restore the organism, not continue to dwindle you down. Without darkness, there's no healing, but you're utilizing darkness to hurt yourself and others. Everybody get that? Put some ones in the chat. Let's keep talking. Okay? Let's keep talking. Because I want to move deeper into understanding this psychological shadow. To understand that the human mind has light and darkness, not just one. So we don't crucify the light. We don't crucify the Son of God. So you don't want the light. You want to live in the darkness. Not understanding that the darkness ain't supposed to be a problem for you. Light in the mind looks like awareness. So this is what you crucified. You crucified your ability to be aware at the capability that you can, to be insightful, to have that wisdom and that consciousness of choice the way that you can. You crucified that. You didn't want that. You put that on the cross. Darkness in the mind looks like the subconscious. This is what you want to work at. The subconscious is robotic. Thank you guys for the likes. The memory, the emotion, the instinct, the trauma, the creativity is down here in the dark spaces. but you don't even know how to work that. Remember, I'm telling you that it's supposed to be a solution. It's becoming a problem. Many people try to live in the mental light, but now many people are living in mental darkness. They want positivity, they want motivation, they want inspiration, but they refuse to face the fear, the grief, the jealousy, the shame, the anger, the pain. And then when you refuse to face it, then you embrace it. And it becomes a paradox. Because what you refuse to face in the darkness starts to control you from the shadows. So real wisdom is not trying to avoid it, but also trying to relearn the value of it. And I teach you guys all the time that once you get your consciousness up on the value of your physical awareness, the dark spaces in life, the private parts in life, once you get your value up on how important the body really is, you'll stop hurting your body. The real wisdom in this is entering darkness with awareness. Being able to maneuver in this physicality with the spiritual understanding. We're not asking you to go all the way up. We're asking you to just be centered. Bring that lower self to some level of love, so that value. Then you got to understand about the descending principles. This is what they taught in the ancient mystery schools. Okay? This is what they taught. Ancient traditions understood this. When you're looking at the Egyptian temples and the Greek mystery schools and African initiation traditions, even in early Christian mystics, all of them taught something called the descent, because you are the descendant. And there's no reason to call you a descendant if you don't know how to descend. Your ascendants are your ancestors. So before illumination, before this enlightenment stage of life, the seeker had to be able to understand how to enter into darkness the appropriate way, so that you can shed light on the private parts of your life. Back then, it was a cave, a chamber, a night vigil. It was a fasting period to shed light on these private areas of your life. Because darkness, if you utilize it the wrong way, it becomes a distraction. If you utilize darkness the right way, it can strip away distraction. When you sit long enough in darkness, aka meditation, with your eyes closed, when you begin to face yourself, aka the owner's manual. If you guys are interested in the owner's manual, please DM us. It's a 7 to 10 page soliloquy on you for a funky, measly $50. You begin to remember yourself. Do this in remembrance of me. This is why many spiritual awakenings begin during when? When you're ill, when you're lost, when you're isolated, when you're grieving, and during collapse. Because those are the dark areas. Those are the private parts of life. Those are the darkness events in your life. But there are also an opportunity for the awakening chambers to come into your life as well. We've been worshiping the light, but we've been choosing to live in the dark. We've been worshiping the sun, whether you call it the SON or the SUN, but you're choosing to live in the darkness, in the private areas of life. What are you doing on your cell phone behind your boyfriend and husband's back, behind your wife and girlfriend's back? That's a private part of your life. What are you doing with your time when they're not there at home? What are you thinking about in your mind? Watching social media, wanting this life, but have this one. Wanting this brother, but got this one. Wanting this sister, but got this one. What are you doing with the darkness? And when you're under this constant stimulation, constant productivity, constant brightness, they always should say that when you're bright, you can shed light on a lot of different subjects, like you would say I am, right? Bright, I'm shedding light on a lot of different substances. But again, you'll crucify me for this truth. You'll rather remain hidden, remain in your private parts. And so that's why we're getting these big C's in our private areas biologically, because disease will tell on you. When you're always moving and you're always working and you're always performing, you start to burn out. The nervous system will start to tell on you, because the nervous system wasn't designed for that type of life. And now you got anxiety and insomnia, chronic disease, because it'll tell on you, because this organism cannot heal without you understanding how to regulate the dark areas in your life, your private parts. Darkness is your biological repair time, not a time to cheat, steal, and kill, not a time to rob yourself of your energy. For everybody right now that's listening, do something for me real quick. Close your eyes. Just close your eyes, drop your shoulders, drop your jaws, drop your tongue if it's at the roof of your mouth. Just close your eyes. Don't see me. Don't look at me. Listen, but don't look. You can listen, but don't watch me. Close your eyes. Notice what happens immediately. Darkness appears. But notice something else. The moment you close your eyes, your awareness expands. You can feel better. You can hear better when the eyes are closed. Your senses, your other senses, start to take in and take over. You can begin to sense your body. And then when you add the humming in there, you begin to feel your body. You begin to feel that vibration traveling through the skull and through the vagus nerve, and then you begin to feel safer, because this activates the parasympathetic nervous system. That's when you are experiencing light in the darkness. That's when your flashlight is coming on. This is the key to healing yourself. This is the key to healing yourself. But if you're going to keep on eating behind closed doors, if you're going to keep on cussing and fussing and drinking and doing all this stuff and lusting, and you're going to keep on mistrusting and doing all this old crazy stuff against your own relationship, against your own situation, against your own self, you're never going to make it. We are utilizing darkness as a problem. We're choosing darkness, but we're utilizing this as the weapon against ourselves. And I'm telling you that darkness is the solution. Rest is the solution. Repair is the solution. Thinking it over is the solution. But in the darkness, you're steady thinking, overthinking, and you can't reason properly. So now you're using this thing as the evil when it ain't evil. See, the goal is to not only live in the light, but the goal is also to remain in the darkness. It's not just to live in the light, but it's not also to remain in the darkness. It's to coagulate. It's to coincide. It's to be able to co-adjust to each other. It's to be able to cohabitate. The goal is integration. Light without darkness becomes arrogance. Darkness without light becomes despair. You guys are not getting the truth, the way, and the light. So now the darkness that you chose becomes your despair. What you're doing in the private parts of your life is hurting you. It is killing you. But when the two work together, when husband works with the wife, when masculine works with the feminine, when day works with night, you get the wisdom to be able to circumvent any issue that arises. When you understand that day is for action and night is for restoration, not cheating. Night ain't for going out on the limb. Night ain't for sneaking on the phone. Night ain't for doing all this violence. Night ain't for that. When you understand that night is for restoration, it's for your solution, not your problems. Mostly everybody that we know do things in these private parts of their life. But when you put them both together, then awareness becomes your guidance. Mystery becomes your depth. And that's what we need nowadays. Because light is going to show you the path. But darkness is going to grow these roots. Light is going to reveal the truth. But darkness is going to reveal the soul. And a person who can understand both instead of choosing one or the other, that person will walk in balance instead of fear. That's what you're needing to do. The thing that's hurting you is the thing that you're doing in private. Okay? The thing that's hurting you is the thing that you're doing in private. We crucified awareness. We crucify shedding light on the situation. I told you guys that this is one of the best health assessments on the planet because you can't lie your way through this. It's going to shed light on what you're doing. Light is revelation, but you want to crucify that. You put that on the cross. Light is awareness. I don't want that. Light is showing you the patterns. You don't want that. Light is showing you the truth. You don't want that. It's showing you order. You don't want that. It's showing you spirit. You don't want that. It's showing you insight. You don't want that. It's showing you ignition. You don't want that. It's showing you remembrance. But you don't want it. You don't want it. We study for education instead of using observation, discipline, and meditation to harmonize with. You don't want it though. You're using darkness to live in instead of light. Why did they put that man on that cross and he's symbolizing the sun? Is because, and he told you that he was the way, the truth, and the life, because you want to sacrifice. That don't sound like you. You're not living your truth. You don't want to know the way. You don't want to have the life. You want to do what you want to do because you were considered gods. And a God's supposed to do what they want to do, right? But what if I told you that darkness is not a problem? It's a solution. Because darkness is where the mystery, the womb, gestation, the potential, the depth, the rest, the repair, the unknown is here. And if y'all don't know, darkness sparked life. Darkness sparked the illumination. Because first there was the unknown. Then you get a glimpse. Then you get the awakening. Then the confrontation with what awakens get exposed. Then the mature light comes in. That mature light. And if you can't see what's going on in your body because that's the darkness within you, then how you ever going to shed light? Look, I told you guys about the nano. The nanoparticle is the light. They call it the Lucifer nanoparticle. It's because it was supposed to be shedding light on these different molecules in your body. See, immature light, it wants to shine without the shadow. But mature light understands the importance of the shadow. And it goes into the shadow, and it also returns with understanding. Not dark matter, the private parts of life. But yes, it started with dark matter, what the Greeks called chaos. Chaos was darkness. And then birth everything else. In the Bible says, let there be light. So what was before that? Darkness. If he got to say, let there be light, then there was darkness first. And we like to live in this darkness, but we're using this as the problem area. It becomes the problem area instead of the solution. Because we don't know how to utilize this, because we don't want nobody to know what we're doing in the dark spaces of life, in your private parts of life. We don't want the consciousness that light brings. We wanted the hiddenness that darkness brings. Oh, if he don't know, if she don't know, that's fine. That's why cheating is at an all-time level. Divorce is at an all-time level. Why? Because it's you like living in the darkness. But that's also why your health is bad. That's also why your health is bad. That's also why your wealth is not going the proper direction. Because when you get money, you like to spend it on these private parts of life. And darkness has been misunderstood for eternity. We've considered darkness the danger. But darkness is not a stranger. It's not a danger. It's an imperative part of life. We're not manifesting. We call this the fertile void, the subconsciousness, the secret place, the private part of life. But it's more than that. Seeds grow. Where do your seeds grow? In the light or in the dark? I'm trying to get you to get this because I told you Mother Nature is fertile. So when you are sitting back cheating on the phone, eventually you're going to cheat in reality. When you're sitting back cheating with your mind's time with somebody else, eventually you're going to cheat with your body. Seeds grow in the dark. Thank you, Manny. So whatever you're doing in your little private parts of life is going to manifest. You might think you want that relationship, but you're not. You're putting seeds in the dark that says you're over it. You're through with it. Then go ahead and go about your business in the light. You're not putting in a bunch of time, study time, and doing all this to change your financial situation. So guess what? You're planting seeds of brokenness. You're planting seeds of staying impoverished. Seeds grow in the darkness. The child forms in the darkness. Dreams come in the darkness. Meditation often requires you to visit the darkness. So then darkness becomes this sacred container for growth. What's cancer? The uncontrollable division of cells. Growth. What's a tumor? Growth. High blood pressure means that it went high. It's growing. High blood sugar means that it went high. It's growing because of the private parts of your life. And there's two types of darkness. There's that higher darkness that we're talking about you should be using it for. And then there's that lower darkness. Sacred darkness is what I'm trying to teach you. Ignorant darkness is what we have chosen. Somebody put that in the chat. There's two types of darkness. Put it in the chat. You keep tapping, you guys. I'll keep talking. There's two types of darkness. You have the higher darkness, which is sacred darkness, which is what we're trying to teach you. But then you have the lower darkness, which is the ignorant darkness. That's where we're at as a community of humanity. That's where the confusion and the unconsciousness and the separation from truth is at. And the same thing with the light. There's a false light where your ego is there. And then there's a true light where the spirituality is there, the wisdom, the harmony, the divine order. So you got two types of light and two types of darkness. We have chosen the ignorant darkness. So we're still in the dark ages. We're still living the private parts of our life. You still don't want to reveal yourself to nobody. We're getting in all of these relationships, but don't nobody want to tell their real truth. So you got to understand that not all the light is holy, but not all the darkness is evil. People can live in false light by just appearing enlightened, but they can be ruled by vanity. The same way people can pass through that sacred darkness by entering solitude, grief, silence, and inner work, and then start to emerge transformed. And this little dance that we got to do between the two is what I'm teaching you guys in the owner's manual, what we're teaching you in your foundational blueprint. Knowing thyself can get you a long way. Without darkness, you guys, light cannot be perceived. Without light, darkness cannot be interpreted. So you're in these private parts of your life when nobody's shedding light on it, because again, you lied to the pastor, you lied to the doctor, you lied to your therapist, you lied to your spouse, you lied to your children, you lied to your coworkers, you lied to your friends. Who really knows you? You're living in the private darkness of life. That's where you're going to stumble without the light. You'll run right into disease. You'll run right into divorce. You'll run right into despair without that flashlight. This duality must be understood. The sun and moon, the feminine and masculine, the night and day, the spirit and matter, the seen and unseen, the consciousness and unconsciousness, the revelation and the incubation. And you guys are living down here in this incubator without no revelation. You're growing seeds of despair. You really want the relationship to work, then why you're cheating on the person with the mind's time? It first got to get your mind before it gets your body. Remember that Adam was the body, Eve was the mind, and the serpent is the thoughts. And when these thoughts, you begin to keep festering these thoughts in the darkness, in the private parts of your life, they're going to grow into failed relationships, failed finances, failure of your health. And we're going to teach you. We're going to teach you this stuff in the HerbMan School, so that you can start to work this darkness to your benefit instead of your despair. How many people understand? If you want to come up on the chat, you guys can. You can put me in the chat. We'll bring you up. If you guys got questions on this, I want to kind of stay on this light and dark. I want to kind of stay on this private parts of your life, because people want healing and then go right back in the darkness and start to self-hurt. self-harm. People want to heal their relationships and go right back into the darkness. People want these things out of life. They have these expectations, but it's what you're doing in the darkness. Whenever y'all invite me, man, you put me on the plane, I'll come. You put me on the plane, I'll be there, okay? Shoot, I don't mind going anywhere, Sayon. I don't mind going anywhere, Sayon, all right? I am there. Yes, welcome to the HerbMan Show. How can I help?
Hey, good day, HerbMan.
Hey.
I have my owner's manual, and I'm trying to get more clarity on the balance. Like I need to stay balanced, so I'm not too much fire, because I'm like fire, and I'm starting to see that thing rise up in my belly, and I'm like, oh no, we ain't gonna have this. So, if you understand me, I'm looking for some clarity. What's some things that I can do while I wait on my herbs to come?
I mean, what balances out? Well, it's not just about the herbs, though. Herbs is not going to just take away what's going on in you. Okay, herbs is a biological thing, but you have other aspects to you. Remember, you got the mental, the physical, the emotional, and the physical. Herbs is only going to deal with physical. The other three things you're going to have to do yourself. So then you got to look at what is the balance of fire. Anybody know what's the balance of fire? You got fire, air, earth, and water. What balances out fire? Anybody know? I'm talking to you if you know. Fire, air, earth, and water. What balances out fire?
You mean like water go put it out?
Thank you. Thank you, right? So instead of you being more mental, you need to try to be more emotional. Try to feel more than what you're thinking. And the feeling of something is a little bit more of a balancing act to just staying in the mind. Use your other senses than just your thought. That makes sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So if I'm fire heavy, I need water. I need to be leading with more feeling instead of trying to think everything and consolidate everything here. Remember that intellect is all about what you have been through already. But there are some things that are going to come in your life, that darkness that we speak of. This takes intuition, not intellect. And when you're going into new spaces in life, you can't always figure it out here, Lana. So some things you got to feel your way through, not think your way through. And when you get more adept to feeling, then that counterbalances the mental fire. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Be more emotional. Be more emotional. Be more emotional. Open up more emotional. Be more emotional intelligent. Feel things. Feel a person when they're talking. Stop trying to think why they're talking. Stop trying to think before they get finished. No, feel them. Feel them. I feel you, baby. I can feel that. Stop trying to understand. I can't understand why they done. I don't understand why these folk doing all this. Stop trying to understand it and just feel. You human too. You done did some stuff you ain't had no business doing either. So you can feel what they saying. Feel, not think. Okay? Sayan, what say you? Thank you, Lana.
Thank you, HerbMan.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sayan, how can we help you? Thank you for coming to the HerbMan Show. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, HerbMan.
Hey, what's going on, Chief?
Blessings all the way from the Caribbean, Guyana.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Blessings, blessings. How can I help you?
Yeah, man. I got a friend who's struggling with blood pressure. We want to know what are the most easy kitchen remedy that we can find in the kitchen to use to keep his blood pressure at a stable level.
Well, the first thing you're gonna have to do is watch out for what's causing the blood pressure. It's a guy. Yeah. So most men and most blood pressure issues anyway is due to worrying and anxiety, okay, and stress, right? Not necessarily the diet, but it's the stress. And there's things in your kitchen that may not necessarily handle that particular nervous system the way that it needs to. Now, what I always say that if you're dealing with like if you're just trying to get an immediate remedy, then look at cayenne pepper. Okay, look at cinnamon.
Cayenne pepper, cinnamon.
Yeah, cayenne pepper, cinnamon. You're gonna need also ginger powder.
Ginger powder.
So and then you put all four of them together, right? So you put cayenne pepper, ginger powder, turmeric powder, and cinnamon powder together, and you do a quarter teaspoon of them. Okay, so a quarter teaspoon of each, and then you take a teaspoon of it in the morning, and that should help them try to balance out. But again, that don't help stress and anxiety and worry.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. Yes, sir. But yeah, man, you can do that and you'll be good. But when it comes to the nervous system, there's no kitchen herbs for that nervous system. Okay, so you'll have to be looking at, things like a skull cap and valerian root, and you might be looking at maybe you can try to get them some ashwagandha if y'all got that down now.
Ashwagandha, yeah, we can find ashwagandha. We have nettles.
Okay.
We have dandelion.
Not that you don't really want that stuff, but ashwagandha, because I'm just talking about nervous system. So ashwagandha, some holy basil.
Basil.
Yes, the holy basil will do it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Peace, man.
Yeah.
Yes. Holler at me if you need
Thank
me.
you very much.
Yes, sir. All right. Peace.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. You guys, look, kitchen stuff is good for blood pressure, but not good for worrying and anxiety. And a lot of the blood pressure is because you guys are stressing. Remember, blood pressure is here. Blood pressure is the root causation, right? It's down here in the stability, safety, and security. The brother dealing with safety, security, and stability, then, how long is that going to work? That ain't going to work nothing but for a short period of time until we get a handle on the worry and the anxiety. Okay, until we get a handle on that. All right, what's going on, Patsy? Anybody else want to come up and talk about these private parts in life? Okay, your disease will tell on you. Don't be scared. Okay, don't be scared. All right, somebody's talking about eyesight right there. Eyesight is about perspective, right? So that's the water element, Lana. You see, when you're lacking that water, then now you start to get a bad eyesight. Okay, so the best herb for eyesight is going to be eye bright, but again, you'll be taking eye bright for the rest of your life until you start to change your perspective. We're not trying to give you guys lifetime prescriptions. We're trying to give you lifestyle prescriptions. If you don't change your life, what I'm giving you, you will be on for forever. Just like how they give you lifetime prescriptions from medication, you get lifetime prescriptions on herbs if you don't change your lifestyle. Okay, but yes, eye bright, you do it as a eye wash. That should shine. That should kind of help you move further. Okay, that should help you move a little further. But it's all about perspective. All right. Anybody else want to come up on the chat? See, darkness is where you meet what has been hidden in your life. Darkness is where you start to meet what has been hidden in your life, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. When people are doing things behind your back, when you're doing things to hurt yourself in the darkness of life, in your private parts of life, then guess what? These things will start to come up in your life. The reason why your relationship ain't going good is because of how you're thinking, feeling, and what you're doing behind closed doors. The reason why your finances is not yet getting off the ground is because of what you're doing behind closed doors. The reason why your situation is what it is health-wise is because of what you're doing in the private parts of your life behind closed doors. When nobody else see you, you still eating tater chips. So that's why you can't lose the weight. You're still eating this, that, and the third. That's why you constipated or got diarrhea. You're still doing this, that, and the third, and that's why you're not getting better. You can feel good. You can go to church all day and go right back into the private parts of your life and do the very things that you just prayed to stop doing. What advice do you have on separating from your foundation family for your healing? So you got to find, if you're separated, then you got to find a way to mend those relationships to get back with family. Okay. If you're separated from your family, you got to find a way to get back, amend that relationship. Okay. If you can't mend that relationship, then you have to find other things that'll create that family environment for yourself. No man should be out here alone. You know, in the Bible, it says that we bid for Adam not to be alone. This is a family environment out here. We are sociable by nature. So you shouldn't be isolated. You shouldn't be separated from anything. You should be able to do the things that you need to do to mend those relationships. If it's important for you, mend them. If you can't mend them, then go out and create your own family dynamic yourself, meaning see your friends as family, see your coworkers as family. You know, you have to create the family environment if you can't mend it. Okay? Darkness is where you meet what has been hidden. Light allows you to understand what you found. Wisdom is learning how to carry both of them in a oneness. So the person who is fearing darkness, you're fearing the unknown within. And the person who's so obsessed only with the light, maybe trying to skip the unnecessary dissension that it takes to come down here and find what's in these private parts of life. Most real transformation is never the ascending. Most real transformation is when you're able to descend into the depths of your private parts in your life. When you're able to reclaim what was buried. You see, he went down and took the keys to death. The keys are not these right here. The keys are principles and precepts. He went down, he descended down and took the keys of death. The principles to reclaim what was buried. Bringing it back into consciousness. That little incident that happened to you in your early childhood, that trauma, you got to go find it. It's in the private parts of your life. It's in a closet somewhere. Maybe in your breast closet, maybe in your prostate closet, maybe in your uterine closet. But it's there. Maybe in your digestive closet. It's in a dark space, and you put it there, and you closed it, and you suppressed it, but it's eroding, corroding, it's fermenting. It's causing problems. And you want to go down there with your flashlight. And the owner's manual and the foundational bundle is that light within. And you bringing these diseases back to consciousness. Oh yeah, I remember when that happened. I remember that I did suppress that. I didn't know where that was, but yeah, I see it's in my breast. I didn't know where that was that I put that in, but I see it's in my ovaries. I didn't know where I put that little trauma, but I see it's in my kidneys. I didn't know where I put it at, but I see it's in my liver. I didn't know where I put it. I forgot where I put it, but I see it's in my prostate. I didn't know where I put it, but I see it was embedded in my heart. I'm trying my best to show y'all the real truth, man. The real truth. We ain't talking about frequencies. We're not trying to sell you no outside stuff. I'm trying to sell you this inside work. And inside work is 99% you. You just need the guide. You need the map. You need the blueprint. You understand me? That's all you need. All you need is your flashlight. Remember that the body inside of you is dark. You need a flashlight to find these problem areas. When you go to the hospital, what they do, they take your blood, they put you on an x-ray, they give you an MRI, they give you a CAT scan. Why? They putting a light on the inside of you. So you don't need for them to do it. I see what you're doing. Now I can create my own CAT scan, my own MRI, my own ECT, my own X-ray. I see what the brother's saying now. If I really love this woman, why am I doing this behind her back? If I really want this relationship to work, why am I doing this in the privacy, in the private parts of my life? If I really want my health to get good, why am I doing this behind closed doors to myself? We crucified the light because we didn't want regulation. We didn't want coherence. We didn't want truth. We didn't want presence. We didn't want direction. We wanted to hide like the ghouls and the goblins. We wanted to hide. If you guys want to come up on the chat, just put me in the chat. We can help you out. Put me in the chat. We'll bring you up, you guys. Okay? This is very important to the modern person. Yes, the dark got comfortable. We start meeting people in the dark. We start creating dreams and aspirations in the darkness of life. But the big thing that we did is we changed this darkness into a problem when it was created as a solution. We like to live in danger, live on the edge of darkness. We think don't nobody see us. Oh, he ain't here, she ain't here. Who would know? But your diseases will tell on you. And when you're living in this distorted light, which is what we got going on today, this overexposure, this performance level of living, this ego inflated level of living, this spiritual bypassing level of living, that's distorted light. It's not the truth. And when you're living in this distorted darkness, which is what we chose when we crucified the Son of God, the S-U-N, and we start living in the darkness of life, that's where stagnation became. That's where despair lived at. That's where ignorance lived at. And that's where suppression and fear lived. And so that's who all of our leaders are, leaders of the darkness, not leaders of the light. So when you hear people telling you about Trump and all these politicians and everybody spewing fear, because that's the leader of where you're going to choose your leader. They said you got two choices, Barabbas or Jesus. Which one did you choose? You got two choices. You want, and look, we can let one of them go. And they said all of them with one voice asked for Barabbas. Why? Because he was just like them. They didn't want no truth seeker, no truth sayer. They wanted the criminal. I know that because I'm criminal too. I'm a cheater. I'm an adulterer. I'm a drinker. I'm a smoker. I'm a fornicator. So Barabbas reminds me of. That's why Trump got. He reminds you of you. See, it reminds you of you. You the one who want to get rich. You the one who want to be boss. You the one who want to dictate. You the one who want to be able to create your own wealth. You the one who think you God too. So you just voted for somebody who reminded you of you, the leader of the darkness. Put me in the chat. I'll bring you up on the thing. I ain't scared of now one of you. This is truth. And it ain't going to get no big following. It ain't going to get no big numbers. Because I ain't selling you nothing. Because you got to do the work yourself. And you want to look for a simple resolution to a complex system. And it ain't none. We changed darkness into a dangerous place to live in. And now you're dealing with stagnation. You're dealing with despair. You're dealing with fear and suppression. And you don't know how to balance it. You don't know how to fix it. The light is not merely brightness. It is the conscious order of things. And darkness is not merely absence. This is where your hidden potential is at. And the path of wisdom is not choosing one against the other, but learning when to enter the dark where to carry the light, and when to let the light be born from the darkness. And this is ultimately what the owner's manual for that little funky, measly $50 is giving us the opportunity to realize that still exists. The flashlight. Somebody put the flashlight. The flashlight. We need a flashlight. Thank you guys for the tapping. Thank you guys for everything. Any questions thus far? You need a flashlight. Somebody put flashlight in the chat. The flashlight. That's what you need. Your relationships are not going to get better as long as you keep doing things in the private parts of your life. Your health is not going to get better as long as you keep doing things in the private parts of your life. Your finances will never get better as long as you keep doing things in the private parts of your life. Medication can't remove the darkness. Meditation, yoga, bioresonance frequencies, all of this stuff cannot remove the darkness. You need a flashlight to see where you're going, to see what's going on inside. You need a flashlight. And this is the flashlight. Somebody hurry up, give me a birthday real quick. But in order to do your birthday, come up on the chat. I want to talk to you. Y'all scared to talk to me, but I want to talk to you because I can hear stuff in your voice. You want me to do your birthday? Put me in the chat. Let's come up on the chat. I just need one person. And we're just going to shine the flashlight real quick. It's just going to be a real quick flashlight. Back up. Real quick flashlight. Back up. Put me in the chat. If you've already done it, if you've already got your owner's manual, no. Okay. If you already got your owner's manual, no, don't come up here. Let's do somebody new. Okay. Because if you got your owner's manual, you already got your flashlight and you already got access to me. We'll bring Sion back up. At least he understands the assignment. Sion understands the assignment. If you're scared, don't worry about it. Sion, what's your birthday?
Don't worry about it. Yeah. Yes, sir. I'm not by tomorrow. I'm 13.
You're going to have to turn me down in your background, Sion. Turn me down in your background.
13, 11, 1983.
83, right? 11, 13, 83. That's correct?
Mm-hmm.
November the 13th, 1983. Okay. So now.
Yeah.
Okay. So 1021 to 1121 is normally going to be a Scorpio. Okay. So just go ahead and mute your mic, Sion. So because you got some noise in the background. Thank you. All right. So that's normally a Scorpio, right? So Scorpio is right here. Okay. So your beginning, your starting point is your finish point. Okay. This is your destination. This is where you begin, and this is where you're trying to get back to. So now we're going to shine a light on where you are in this paradigm. Okay. So you're a Scorpio, so we know that that's a water sign. Every Scorpio, the opposite of you. So if you're a Scorpio, the opposite of you is going to be a Taurus, right? So that's your day and your night. Okay. Well, Scorpio is your night and Taurus is your day. So Taurus is an earth sign. Okay. All right. Now we need to figure out the other part of you. So we say 11 plus 13 is 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. So from your month and your day, we got the number 6. 1983 is eventually going to be 18 plus 3, which is 21. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 6. 3 plus 6 is 9. Okay, so your life path number is a 9. That 9 is here representing the fire element. Okay, so you are water, earth, fire person, okay? So just because you're a water element doesn't mean that you're a water bender. You're a water element, but you're a fire bender. Love to be outside in nature, in the sunlight. You need the light. But what this is also saying is that you are a thinker. You are a thinker, okay? So now understanding that is you got to watch your thoughts, because this is your power right here. This is your superpower. It's your thought life. If you think it bad, it'll happen to you bad. If you think good, it'll happen to you good. Watch your thoughts. Now, here we go. Let's see exactly where you at. So 11/13/83, we know that a Scorpio ends in the 21st. So let's say you did 8 days, right? You did 8 days of Scorpio. That means that you did 2.8 years of Scorpio right here. 2.8 years. 83 lets me know that you were you're going to be what, you about 30, 42. Yeah, you're 42 years old. You'll be 46 this year. 43 this year, right? So if this is 2.8, each one of these life lessons is a 10-year span. So 2.8, 12.8, 22.8, 33.8, 43.8. You're 42. Okay, so that means that you're in the last decan. You're right here. You're in the last decan of Pisces. Okay, the last decan of Pisces. So you done traveled all the way around the life right here. So you was born in the fall and you've only made it to the winter of life. Now, what does the winter represent? Things inwardly. This is a spiritual time in your life. That doesn't mean that you're not supposed to work or get a job and do all that, but you are working on the inner workings of yourself. You're in the Piscean age, which is a spiritual transition. You're also in a transition. So you finna start seeing some things close here. You're going through some closure, maybe something from your past. Okay, you're going through that closure, and I can tell you how. 2, 12, 22, 32. So it happened from 37 to 47. Okay, from 37 to 47, some closure then came into your life. Sion, what say you?
I've been seeing a few years ago until now. Every time I look at my clock, I can see the number 9/11. What is the meaning of 9/11? That's a number I see a lot, especially on my clock. Every time, a lot of times, I glimpse to my phone or my watch, 9/11. A lot of times, the number is trying to tell me something.
That's not what I'm asking you about 9/11. I'm asking you about between the ages of 37. So you're 42 right now. Something happened into your life between 37 and 42. There has been something that has been some closure that's going on.
37 to 47, yeah. I've been through some closure. That's true.
Some stuff has ended, and some stuff that ended that you thought you were supposed to be, but it ended around this time, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that's what we're talking about, but it's some spiritual stuff. It was some stuff that was going on that you really didn't have no control over, but you had to end it. You had to go ahead and put some closure on that stuff. That's because that's where you're at. Now, you're not going to get out of here until you turn 43. So when you turn 43, then we're going to start this new thing in Aries. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, so you only got one more year. Matter of fact, you only got a few more months. And then you're going to start seeing this new thing spring forth. But, from 37 to now, unfortunately, there had to be some closure that has to happen before that new thing is able to come your way. Don't worry about 9/11s and numbers and stuff like that. Don't worry about that part. That really has nothing to do with it. What you want to understand is the life lesson that you're in, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you really want to understand.
It was just that I was told that the number, it was meaning out of the old into the new. That's what I was told.
The number meant
out of the old into the new.
But that's what this means. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The same thing. Yeah, same thing. Out of the old.
So it's the same thing, but
Just
out
a
of the
different
old
way.
into the new.
Yes, sir. Same thing. Out of the old into the new. It's just a different way of perceiving it. But yeah, that's the transition that you're in.
Yeah, it's the same message. Yeah,
Same
thank
message.
you a lot.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Peace, peace.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, peace.
Yes, yes, that's what that means. Out of the old into the new. So it just shed light on why things are happening in the person's life. All I did was took a birthday. We don't need the location. We didn't need no blood work. We didn't need no blood sample. We didn't need no stool sample, urine sample. We didn't need no little bump on your, no culture on your little bump down there. All we needed was the birthday. Okay. Now there's a lot of other stuff that he can know about himself if he get his owner's manual, because then you know about the fire, then you know that you do have the propensity for self-control issues, right? So watch your digestive system. Also, you have the propensity for addictive behavior. You got to watch that, Sion. Also, you have the propensity for watching your reproductive system. Also, you got to watch out for your pituitary gland. Okay, that means growth and development. You could be too short, too tall. You could be losing hair, all that type of stuff. So you got to watch out for that. Also, we see the earth element, so you got to watch out for your adrenals, your kidneys, your high blood pressure, arthritis, things of that nature. But then also you got to watch out for your weight. Okay, weight, Sion. All of this stuff is a part of your tendencies. That doesn't mean that you're going to run into all of that. No. But if you don't know if you ain't got your flashlight, you will. Okay? If you don't have your flashlight, you'll run into all of these tendencies and try to figure out what's going on in your life. Okay? You'll run into all these tendencies. Okay? Anybody else? So you got to understand that this is what you need, the flashlight. You're trying to get back to choosing the sun and get out of this darkness. And if you get a flashlight in your private parts of life, you can make your way out of the lower self, you guys. You can make your way out of hell, but you need a flashlight. Flashlight ain't about fire. It's about darkness. And especially if you can't shed more perspective on the benefit of darkness, then you'll just hide in the darkness and you'll stay in this dangerous place, creating the danger for your wants, needs, and desires. You want this, but you can't figure out how to get what you want. You need this, but you can't figure out how to get the need met. You desire this, but you can't figure out how to do it because it's in the darkness. You chose Barabbas instead of Christ. You chose a space that made you comfortable instead of one that will reveal the truth in you. Sheridan Taylor said, "You're describing me to the T." Yeah. Yeah. You need a flashlight. The owner's manual is the flashlight. We all need this flashlight. I'm no better than you guys, but I'm getting the downloads to understand what darkness is doing. When we choose to do this stuff, then you can't really expect for relationships and finances and health to get better. And it don't matter how many people you go buy stuff from. If they're not teaching you this, it won't work. It's wasted money. It's wasted time. It's wasted energy if you're not getting somebody to look after the total you. And that's from spouse all the way to service providers. If they are not willing to look out for the total you, if you so uncomfortable that you can't be and reveal yourself to people, then you'll live in the darkness. Why do you think men cheat? Why do you think women cheat? It's because they can't be themselves around the person that they chose. So they live in the darkness and in the private parts of life. And that cheating ain't just about cheating on a spouse, but you cheat on your diets. You cheat at your job. You're supposed to be at work and you over here on social media at work. You're cheating your job. You're cheating your spouse. You're cheating your diets. You're just living in the darkness. And you're going to run right into disease, divorce, and despair. And it ain't nothing more I can say to you guys but that. Okay? If you guys are interested in getting your flashlight, getting your owner's manual, you can DM me or you can go to the website, type in owner's manual. If you want the foundational blend, it's going to be the blueprint, right? The blueprint is your owner's manual and the herbs that you need so that you can go ahead and have everything that you need. That's the foundational bundle. If you're thinking, I want to detox, I want to get the owner's manual, and I want also to have my herbs, that's the healer's package. But all of this stuff won't work without the flashlight. I love you guys, man, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Please go tell somebody to go tell somebody about your homie HerbMan. We thank you for the 50,000 likes. We thank you for the participatory. We thank you for the interaction. We'll be back on tomorrow, same back time, same back channel. I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Until next time, love HerbMan. Peace, 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 peace. Peace. Peace.